And then the rookie, Gordon Beckham, A.J. Pierzynski, Jermaine Dye, Mark Kotze, Ramirez and Quentin, Getz and Alex Rios. A lot to tell you about regarding the Chicago White Sox as we get going today. Right now, we're inviting you to reach for the perfect combination of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. Along with Jose Mota, Josh Lewin, very happy to be with you from Anaheim today. We understand we had some technical issues getting it on the air, and we are now current and live and good. And Ervin Santana begins with a 7-8 record, opponent ERA of 5.71, but he's been pitching a lot better of late. Rings one in to Scott Podsednik and is quickly ahead 0-2. The Angels yesterday a 7-1 winner. And a great start for Santana. Strikes out Podsednik right away. Ervin Santana. The Angels starters have been quite a story, borderline unreal. Because in 10 of the last 13 games, they've allowed no runs or one run. You see what Santana has done for the year.
We talked so much the whole season pretty much about the Angels offense, but you have to understand that the addition of Kazmir, Lackey stepping up, Santana, Saunders coming back strong, and Weaver having a career year really has been outstanding and a big plus. So for Ervin Santana, he has to compete from the very first pitch. We saw that. Steady push up with that back leg, and you know what? The radar gun does not matter.
And this ball is going to get drilled. A home run right out of the chute for Gordon Beckham. As we give Santana some love, Gordon Beckham in the mix for Rookie of the Year in the American League. His 11th home run, and the White Sox are on top 1-0.
Ozzie Guillen says the one thing that can really help us is we see a beautiful swing by Beckham. Left center field, the ball will carry so well in this ballpark here during the day. Made no mystery of that one right away. But Guillen was saying, for us to compete from here on, we need offense. We need those bats to wake up.
The White Sox are the defending American League Central champions. But to reclaim what they had, yeah, things got to get going fairly quickly now. The Tigers, we mentioned, have that 6-game lead on Chicago, 5.5 on Minnesota. The White Sox under Ozzie Guillen had won 6 of 8 before getting wiped out last night. And as you were talking about, Jose, the pitching has absolutely carried the Angels. It did again last night. Pierzynski is going to loop one to Rivera, out number 2. That Twins game from today is now gone final. We can update and tell you that both the White Sox and the Twins are even Steven now, 70 and 72, 6 games in back of the Tigers. But indeed, Ozzie Guillen's group has 6 games left head-to-head against Detroit. Mike Scioscia's team trying to hold off the Rangers, and the Angels and the Rangers play 7 more times.
Well, similar story coming up here for both ball clubs. One chasing and one on top. Mike Scioscia is always very consistent, as you know well, Josh. Does not talk beyond today's ball game.
Which is frustrating for us broadcaster types, but but it's probably the best tactic, no doubt about it. And consistency has been a hallmark, you're right. Consistency of a Swiss watch this year. They have yet to lose 4 games in a row at any time. Jermaine Dye blasting away. Doesn't quite do what Beckham did. What Beckham did was homer to give the White Sox a 1-0 lead on Santana. lineup. It's brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Figgins and Ibar, Abreu and Vlad Guerrero, Torrey Hunter, Juan Rivera, Howie Kendrick, Rob Quinlan, Jeff Mathis. A mostly right-handed hitting lineup for Mike Scioscia because of who's on the mound. And that's the lefty John Danks. White Sox starters, third in the American League in ERA. They've got the most quality starts in the AL. Boy, John Danks has been a big part of that. A dozen wins, 9 losses, 6 consecutive quality starts. The one thing to note, he's allowed 5 home runs his last 15 innings of work.
He will go out there and compete for you. He sometimes does not have the best stuff, but he'll find a way to keep that team in the ballgame. Consistent release point, especially for that changeup and his cut fastball. Change those looks on the Angels base runner. And overall, stay on a nice current roll. He has been so far the most dependable starter they've had here over the last 6 starts or so.
As a sprint pitcher profile for Mr. Danks, a native Texan. And the switch hitting Sean Figgins, who's been on base more than any player in the American League. And when he gets on, good things are happening. He leads the league in runs scored, too. He is on again. There have been some mild concern that Figgins might be wearing down. Hitting just 180 in September, has been caught stealing the last 3 times he's tried. But these are small issues for the Angels, a team that right now is 30 games over 500. As we were talking about, as we were coming on the air, I guess, Jose, it's a matter of the Angels are starting to do literally every facet of the game real well. And if you're going to do that, mid-September is a great time to have that happen.
And if you want something carrying you right now, count on those guys on the mound. They are doing it.
Ibar squares, shows a bunt. So how are these guys doing it? Can you articulate exactly what's been going on?
What's happening is it's not so much about just the numbers, but the command, the execution. Every single day somebody takes them out and gives you an opportunity and throws zeros up there. The offense does not need to score 7, 8 runs a game anymore. It's like they were doing most of the season. But they understand the guy on the mound sometimes sets a stage, sets a tempo, and they're going to get done.
It's been kind of a bizarro universe for the Angels this year because until very recently, yeah, the hitting has been carrying the pitching, and now the pitching is right back to where Mike Scioscia's always had it. Nobody's complaining about things like leading the majors in batting average, which they are doing at 287. Best with runners in scoring position, second base and on base percentage. But over the last 2 weeks, the starters' ERA is about 1.4.
That's one thing I was pointing out. Make sure with the Angels base runners, Figgins, 39 stolen bases. You have to change your look. Sometimes you'll have to lift that leg up. Sometimes lift the leg, stay there a little while, go home. But make sure you get different looks out there.
This ball popped into the infield. It's a really early thing to say. We're 2 batters into the game for the Angels, but John Danks, one of the things that's been so endearing about him for manager Ozzie Guillen, when he gives up that leadoff base runner, it seems like inevitably he's doing that. His opposing batters are hitting about 340 to lead off innings, but it's what happens after that. Finds a way to get through.
He locks in. And that is a sign of a guy that's matured and right now has been so dependable. You know what? You talk to opposing hitters about John Danks and they say the ball will get on you quickly.
Stares down Bobby Abreu. White Sox leading on a Gordon Beckham solo home run. These Angels are working a little harder than they had to a year ago to secure the AL West. Last year by this time, they had clinched the deal. They had 2 full days to dry out from the champagne they'd poured on each other for having wrapped things up. the Texas Rangers, making sure that is not going to happen here in 2009.
And that has been a prevailing theme around here the last week or so. How does it feel this time having the Rangers breathing down your necks as opposed to last season? You know what? Most players welcome the chance to compete all the way to the end. As far as Torii Hunter saying, you know, it seems like we kind of relaxed a little bit going into October and into the division series against Boston. The more you can compete all the way till the end, as much fun as it was, it's always good to be playing good baseball, competing baseball all the way to the end of the season.
A lot of attention being paid over there at first to Figgins. And yeah, 21 games is the number by which the Angels won that AL West a year ago. That is not going to happen if it happens here in 2009.
What a nice year for Ron Washington in Texas. And right there also with a wild card, the Rangers, only 2 back.
That ball squibbed foul by Bobby Abreu. Now the Angels and Rangers have 7 head-to-head against each other. 4 of them will be here in Anaheim the last week of the season. And you mentioned the Rangers are right there with the Boston Red Sox too. The Angels have to play Boston. The Angels have to play the Yankees. They got kind of a challenging schedule the rest of the way themselves.
Tough stretch coming up.
A 5th throw to first base. But you know what? It's 72 and perfect here in Southern California. And nobody seems to mind. The fans just kind of chilling.
Absolutely not. Especially after the heat wave here. 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, in the 70s and gorgeous today. That pitch to Abreu just off the plate. And Abreu, what a different dynamic he's brought to this Los Angeles team. How willing he is to take a pitch.
He'll take a pitch. He'll drive runs. Sometimes people criticize him because he only has 13 home runs, but so what? He's got 93 RBIs. A true definition of a professional hitter.
We've thrown out that word consistency on the broadcast already. How about exactly 100 runs scored and exactly 100 runs batted in a year ago? A 6th throw to first base. We'll just chill some more. No big deal.
Usually Sean Figgins at first base, as most Angels will do, will run first move on the lefties.
Figgins is running, and Abreu smacks it into right field, base hit. No problem at all for Figgins to hightail it to third. And the payoff for a patient at bat right there. First and third, and just 1 out for the Angels.
Again, solid swing. He sees a lot of pitches, so he's able to time pitches better. Figgins, a little bit of a late start like he should do there in 3-2. But he knew exactly where the right fielder Dye was playing. No hesitation whatsoever. Going first and third and find that baseball looking inside.
Nobody goes first to third like the Angels do. Double play depth for the White Sox. It's Vlad Guerrero at the plate. And he pops the first one up. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier with Danks. Things get a little bit interesting, and he just kind of bears down and gets it done.
And he did to Guerrero what teams will do to Vlad, especially early in the ballgame. He's way over anxious. Pounds something up and in. Most of the times he is swinging, and execution by Danks gets him a big out.
It's so funny, I think, watching Abreu and Guerrero back to back. It shows you there's more than one way to skin a cat for sure. Guerrero swings at everything. Abreu swings at nothing.
We talk about a flow for an offense. The Angels played without Hunter and Guerrero for a stretch of about 30 games. There's a different flow to the offense.
Torii Hunter will try to save the inning for the Angels. That's a strike according to Doug Eddings, who has quite a history. When the White Sox played the Angels, he had home plate in the ALCS in 2005, and a lot of strange things happened in that 2005 ALCS between these two teams. Hard to believe that was 4 years ago, but boy, Doug Eddings, anytime the umpire has to have a press conference after a playoff game, something's gone amiss.
About an umpire having to have security wait for him at the airport. Fans, pretty much the players have moved on. The fans here in Anaheim, oh no.
It's funny how they still boo Przynski when he comes up to the plate here.
Przynski was just doing his job. But a guy that's not afraid to speak his mind.
No.
Aggressive. He's a grinder out there, and who can blame him? He ran to first base like he's supposed to.
Isn't it funny, though, how if there's chaos on the field, Przynski just always seems to be a part of it somehow.
That was going back to his Twins days. 1 year with the Giants. But he can play.
The 3-1 pitch on the ground, foul. The controversy in 2005, bottom 9, game 2. 2 out, bases empty. The called third strike on Przynski. The ruling was that Josh Paul failed to catch the ball before it hit the ground. It appeared that Eddings had called Przynski out, but Przynski ran to first. 2 batters later, game-winning double. And thus the security detail that you mentioned for Doug Eddings.
And it all became a question of his, he explained his mechanism.
Now there's a double that kind of paid the whole thing off. And yeah, you know, after that controversy, Doug Eddings says he took a phone call from, of all people, Don Denkinger, the umpire who altered the course of that '85 World Series with a safe call at first, Royals and Cardinals. What a great thing for Eddings to hear from Don like that. John Danks once again, when the going gets tough, he just finds a way. The Angels strand 2. It is 1-0 Chicago. Nextel Direct Connect only from the Now Network. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by X-Men Origins, Wolverine on Blu-ray and DVD Tuesday. Second inning is underway. The White Sox have a lead of 1-0. Mark Kotsay bats. Brought in from the Boston Red Sox and picking it up of late, 8 for his last 19. On On the subject of picking it up, the Chicago White Sox will have to do exactly that. The Tigers have a lead in the AL Central. 3 weeks to go in the regular season. Cranked into center field, another base hit for Mark Kotsay. Alexi Ramirez will come to the plate. Let's bring in the third member of our broadcast collective today, Ken Rosenthal. He's down the field.
Hey, Josh. Jake Peavy fancies himself a warrior. He would never want to be perceived as soft by his new teammates, but it might be that the White Sox need to protect him from himself. Jake is going to throw 80 pitches on the side tomorrow, but let's face it, he's in less than ideal game condition. The White Sox need him for 2010, 11, and 12. They're all but out of contention. They might want to back off here.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. Thank you, Kenny. 3 weeks ago, White Sox GM Kenny Williams told the media that if this reconfigured team failed to make the playoffs, it would be his most disappointing season as the guy in charge. So do you just kind of accept your fate? I mean, right now, 6 games out. It's not looking great. You got to beat back Minnesota as well. Do you start to look at 2010? The Sox of 2010 look like they could be very, very good. Jake Peavy, as Ken Rosenthal mentioned. Gordon Beckham will have a year under his belt. Got some other young players on their way. High pop-up from Alexi Ramirez, and Mathis has got it.
I'll tell you one thing for sure, Josh. If I'm a player in that clubhouse, I don't want to hear about 2010. I want to talk about now, because mathematically you're still in it. And Peavy was on his way back on his rehab, and it seemed like everything got derailed by getting hit by a line drive, and he's going to grind it and fight it out. And Don Cooper, the pitching coach, still hopes to see him on the mound sometime here in the next couple of weeks. So, I mean, if you still have a chance at some point, the way this team has the experience, the way they can turn it on, they need Peavy. They need to step it up. I don't want to talk about 2010 if I'm a player.
Quentin checks and takes a strike. It's funny because if you do start to look ahead, I think there are a couple guys on this Angels team that have contracts coming up. It would be such a beautiful fit in Chicago. You look at third base and you look at right field. You see Figgins and Abreu. Of course, there's a lot of other teams that'll be in on that as well. Fastball this time, and Quentin behind 0-2.
Talk about Bobby Abreu reestablishing what maybe some people doubted, but his contributions. And for Sean Figgins, absolutely a all-around player, versatile player, and he has shown that he is an everyday contributor. Third base or second base or even the outfield.
Getting Carlos Quentin back to form would certainly help as well. That's a guy they already do have. But physically, there have been issues all year, an injured left foot, which led to some knee issues as well. I'd suggest to you, too, Jose, that emotionally, when you watch Quentin, it seems that last year's intensity and enthusiasm kind of more accurately viewed this year as frustration and anger.
Yeah, the way he got started last season, I mean, he was on his way to who knows, maybe an MVP season.
Well, until and that was kind of self-inflicted too. That was frustration and anger, right? You punched the bat rack.
All that, hopefully, you learn from. For a team that went all the way to the end and then winning an extra game to gain your pass into the playoffs speaks loudly, even without Quentin, how far they went.
But he did. He carried them pretty much the first 5 months of 2008. His former teammate Nick Swisher put it best, probably, if not most creatively. He said he was hotter than donut grease. But yeah, this year it's been a struggle for Quentin. With the infield, a double play depth. Irvin Santana rocks and fires, and a ground ball up near third, foul. And I think Quentin would be the first to admit he can be analytical to a fault. You know, Hose, I mean, I always go back to what Yogi said. How can you think and hit at the same time? And he does. He gets in his head, maybe overthinks things a little bit.
And on that, you talk to batting coach Greg Walker. He says sometimes I have to tell him to back off, even just off the extra work or soft toss or tee work. As you mature as a player, you understand more and more what it takes to get ready for a ball game without overdoing it.
On a check swing, that was Doug Addings' mechanical right here. That is a called third strike. No issues.
Good call there on the mechanics. Or mechanism, I should say.
Hey, folks, this year you can stay connected to MLB on Fox by following us on Twitter. Go to twitter.com/MLB on Fox. Fox Sports also on MySpace and Facebook. Get breaking news, notes, video clips, and a lot more. MySpace.com, Facebook.com, Twitter.com. Join the community. Here's Chris Getz. But just back to that point about Quentin, I think it's a good point overall, Jose, that you bring up. I mean, there is a school of thought that suggests that when the going gets tough, rather than spend 4 hours at the batting cage and 4 more in front of the video playback machine, just relax, have a candy bar, run out there and play.
Tell your mind that you are ready.
Getz turns on one, sends it down the right field line. That is going to drop. It is fair. On the way to third is Kotsay. Holding at first is Chris Getz, who had been just 1 of 17 the last few days. So he'll take him any way you can get him. He drops it just inside the chalk.
Chris Getz, a fine young player. Flat swing to the strike zone, and as you mentioned, you need a little luck. Well, he found it to get on that little funk. And one thing about looking forward to Ozzie, he says he has now a core of players that he can use with Rios, with Getz, with Quentin, with Beckham, that he can run the bases, be more aggressive. But he goes now, even with Alexi Ramirez, now we're getting into putting them all together.
Number 9 man in the order, Alex Rios. And you talk about a struggle. 5 for 57 right now.
Still has not found a groove wearing this uniform. Hitting 151, 24 games for the White Sox.
His last several games in Toronto were actually pretty good. He had 4 home runs and 16 runs batted in his last 3 weeks as a Blue Jay. But yeah, his first 3 weeks in a Chicago uniform, not even close.
I don't know when was the last time Alex Rios saw himself hitting the bottom of the order.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, this is a guy that was a 3-4-5 guy in Toronto. Claimed off the waivers, and well, Chicago takes on the $60 million that Rios is owed over the next 5 years. So.
Okay, Josh, how many guys have participated in a home run derby and end up hitting 9th?
Oh, that's a great question. Rios is not proud to be the first guy that you think of, if not the only guy on that list.
But new beginning. He's out of Toronto. He never had a chance to play center field because of a Gold Glover named Vernon Wells.
Yep.
And they say he is the best center fielder they've had here in a long time.
Well, the White Sox have spun that carousel in center field ever since trading away Aaron Rowan. They got a guy with talent, but boy, he's just in a funk. We heard names like Chris Young, who's now with Arizona, of course. Ryan Sweeney, now with Oakland. Jerry Owens is now off in the Seattle organization. Ryan Anderson is in the Red Sox organization. So Alex Rios gets to step in there. And again, there's a lot invested into him sticking the landing because they're on the hook for 5 years and $60 million with this guy.
I think production will eventually pick up for Alex Rios. Potential 25-25 guy. Who knows, a 30-30 guy. Still young.
Yeah, it was only a couple of years ago. He was top 10 in the league in, 10 different statistical categories. Little cue shot. And at second base, Kendrick makes Rios 5 for his last 58. It stays 1-0 White Sox over the Angels on Fox. The great American lager. White Sox got a home run from Gordon Beckham, second batter of the ball game, and still leading here in Anaheim in the bottom of the second inning. The Angels have won 7 of 8. They're a season-high 30 games over 500. Juan Rivera taking inside from John Danks. Danks has lost just 1 of his last 6 starts. And his ERA during that time is about 2.5. A good test for the Angels today. That ball popped up and getting a lot of those early in the game as John Danks. Another play made in foul ground. A DirecTV game break. Follow your favorite Major League Baseball team no matter where you live with DirecTV. Cliff Pennington off Jeff Manship, and the Oakland A's go on to beat the Minnesota Twins by the final of 4-2. There's a strike dealt to Howie Kendrick. The Twins, just like the White Sox, absolutely need to be playing their best baseball right now because the Tigers have a 6-game lead. Another ball popped near first base, but this one has eyes for right field, and Kendrick finds a way to get on. Again, the White Sox have 6 head-to-head against the Tigers, but having to navigate a West Coast road trip before that even comes up on the radar. Got to play these Angels again tomorrow, then it's 3 in Seattle.
And Ozzie says, hey, if we are within 3 or 4 going face-to-face against the Tigers, we have a very good chance. I trust my ball club. But again, you got to think about there's also the Twins involved in this whole thing, and the Twins are never out of it.
Rob Quinlan giving Kendry Morales a day off today. Well, the Angels have 30 home runs and 98 runs batted in on the bench. first appearance in the entire month of September for Quinlan, a guy who does hit well against lefties.
You said the reason. Kendry
Right.
Morales. 30 homers for Morales, 98 RBIs, hitting .306.
$21 million less than Mark Teixeira is making, too. They let Teixeira go. The ball blooped foul by Quinlan.
Mike Scioscia extremely consistent in making sure the guys on the bench stay fresh, stay sharp. And Morales was scuffling a little bit the last few games, and it's not a bad time to put Quinlan in there against the lefty.
This is, as we've been talking about, a tough lefty, John Danks. If his September approximates his August, the White Sox would be thrilled. 4-1 last month.
Continues to do a nice job.
Let's go to Ken Rosenthal for more on John Danks.
Josh, you can talk about the Yankees, you can talk about the Red Sox, but John Danks told me yesterday that the Angels are the most stressful team to pitch against in the American League. He has only one win in 5 career starts against the Angels, and as he told me, in that game we scored 17 runs. Now you guys remember that day, August 18th, when the Angels had a lineup of 9 hitters, all batting 300 or more. Danks asked me, are they all still hitting 300, or have some fallen out of the club?
Yeah, they had a couple guys at 298, if that helps. But I mean, it is. I would think if you're the other pitcher, you look for a hole, any hole in this Angels lineup. You know, where can I breathe? And you just don't see it.
And they're just tough at bats. When you talk about tough outs and getting people out, you know, it's not just like they're swinging for the fences and guys thinking about individually what I can do, but you talk about the combination. Starting pitchers last 13 games, 1.41 ERA. You throw in left, Ian Saunders and Weaver, Santana, and the newest Angel Kazmir. Then you have 9 guys hitting over 290. Remarkable, especially this late in the season.
Breaking ball missing up and outside.
And the challenges faced by the Angels. And the tragedy of A.J. Hart, his passing, and then using 14 different starting pitchers.
On 3-2, runner goes, wave and a miss. A throw from A.J. Pierzynski is dead letter perfect. It's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. We'll return to Anaheim after a word from your local Fox station. tiebreaker. It's the Angels and the White Sox today on Fox. 1-0 Chicago. With a Gordon Beckham home run. Beckham on deck as Scott Podsednik digs in, has a 10-game hitting streak. He is stating his case by his performance to be brought back by the Chicago White Sox next year.
What a great story he is. He was not even part of the plan for the White Sox. Spring training earlier in the season. Took a minor league job, proved himself, got up here. Sensational year for Scott Podsednik. And timely.
High fly ball, right field. Scott Podsednik lifting it to the wall, and Bobby Abreu can't handle it. Watch Scott Podsednik fly. He'll go to third, and he's got a shot. They're going to windmill him around. Inside the Parker coming. He got it!
That's impressive.
Bobby Abreu was unable to find it. Unable to even touch it. And as it rolled away, Jose, there went Scott Podsednik just thundering around the bases.
Perfect carom off that wall. Bobby Abreu was a little late getting back there as the ball carries so well, but what more impresses me is here. He took off knowing all the way if that ball's not caught, I'm thinking maybe 3, perhaps not understanding how far the ball was going to bounce off, but Jeff Hawks aggressively at third base waves him in.
First time in 7 years the Chicago White Sox has banked an inside the park home run. And the guy with the wheels, it's not exactly a stunner. It would be Scott Podsednik that gets it done. Podsednik, a guy who emerged in that playoff series against the Angels 4 years ago and rode that right into the World Series. Joe Borchard, the last Chicago White Sox to have the inside the park home run. That was at a great inside the park in Kansas City. Here's a guy with the outside of the park home run, Gordon Beckham. And he's going to skip this one into center field. He's 2 for 2. Beckham, who had missed some time with a strained oblique muscle, back in the lineup and hitting for Chicago.
He is not afraid at all. Now, there's one thing about Beckham that impresses his teammates and Ozzie Guillen and his manager so much.
Number 12.
Back to Podsednik. We talked about him stepping it up in the postseason 4 years ago. You can hear them recalling that postseason right now, booing A.J. Brzezinski.
I can remember that so well.
Podsednik, who had had no home runs that 2005 regular season, and only 1 triple, and had a home run and 2 triples in the World Series.
He enjoys the big moment and the drama, doesn't he?
Well, and Brzezinski, as we talked about, is that kind of character too. Another pretty amazing season, boy. That 2005 World Series win for Chicago. It started with a 1-0 win opening day. It ended with a 1-0 win in Game 4 of the World Series. And there's a lot of excitement in between. That ball peeled in a left by Brzezinski. All right, so I got to ask you, Hose.
Yes, sir.
You played in Kansas City. We talked about that being a good inside the park home run joint. How many ITPs for you in your career?
I had 1 in the minor leagues. In my limited time in the big leagues, I did not hit a ball that far to let it roll.
You didn't have 2 guys collide with each other?
No, man. Just nothing lined up at the right time.
But what happens when you're coming around third? And I mean, it sounds like you remember at least a little bit from what happened in the minors. I mean, when you hear that third base coach go, go,
you're going, are you kidding me? Are you serious? I mean, you don't experience that very often. You score from second to home, and you're used to the guy waving you and all that stuff. But when you say, I'm not stopping at third, I'm going, and you're out of breath anyway. So
Jermaine Dye is going to chop one towards second base. 1 out to get is at first. I guess you need that perfect storm, right, to get the inside the Parker. You need the ball to carry him away just far enough. You need to have a guy with speed, at least in theory. Knowing that Paul Konerko's got one, kind of messes with that theory a little bit.
They just have to line up perfectly. And then, you know, in all seriousness, you take off thinking extra bases. If you take off just jogging over to first base, better chance than not is the guy's going to say, you know, stop at third base. Just take off, run hard all the time. Set a good example.
A strike dealt in to Kotsay. That's pretty amazing that Konerko and Ichiro are tied for number of inside the park home runs hit at one.
You just said perfect storm.
Yeah, well,
they just have to line up right.
Konerko's was in Tampa Bay, December of the year 2000. Got a friendly roll on the artificial surface.
We should go back and look at Willie McGee and Vince Coleman. Those Rabbits, how many they did.
The ball down to Kotsay. Could Abreu have done anything differently in playing that ball in right field?
Yeah, I think he waited too long to get back there. As I mentioned before, he should have gone a little bit quicker back there to wait for the ball and perhaps time his jump a little bit better. Either set from up here than on the field, because I don't know what the conditions of the sun are, and I don't know if he saw the ball right away off the bat.
That continues to be, though, one of the things, I mean, so few negative things that you can say about Abreu. That pitch close. Not called a strike. Let's check it out again. Yeah, I don't know what he could have done.
On top of that, you have Scott Podsednik. Nothing against him, but at least the expected was Podsednik to hit a ball over his head.
Drilled into right field, and Abreu, well, now we got to get on him for that. Got to make that play. And he will at least fire in to capture the incoming Kotsay at second. But the drop on the run leads to a run. The White Sox tag on one more. An adventure for Abreu here in the top of the third. It's 3-0 Chicago. It's the White Sox by 3 on Fox today. Jeff Mathis in there against John Danks. And it's funny how much we're talking about Bobby Abreu in this game already. We've sung his praises in terms of what he's done at the plate once again. All things considered, a bargain basement pickup for the Angels. They got him for cents on the dollar. But defensively, it's the one thing that every once in a while just kind of shows up in the discussion. And the stats mavens, that is the authors of the Fielding Bible, have argued for a while that Abreu is an inferior right fielder. He's got kind of an aversion to running into the wall, they suggest, and they've got stats to back up that he makes plays on a lot fewer balls than the average right fielder would be expected to. A couple of baseballs that Abreu was chasing in that last inning. He went 0 for 2.
Here's the first one. Going back, a little late start. Look at his feet get tangled up at the end when he jumps off the wrong foot. Got him on the right hand.
And even had he chased it down right away, I don't know that he would have gotten Scott Podsednik, who circled the bases. Right there, that's just very simply E9. That allowed a run to score.
That's a ball you have to catch.
Wave and a miss by Mathis. Down he goes. The combination of the White Sox hitting some home runs and John Danks pitching some superior baseball early. It's been a good start for Chicago.
Danks has been able to establish inside against those righties. Now he has a couple of right-handed hitters looking in there. There's a dejected Bobby Abreu. A true professional player understands what happened.
Sean Figgins takes a strike. For more on Abreu, let's go to Ken Rosenthal.
Indeed, Bobby Abreu went back into the clubhouse. My guess would be he was looking at replays. When he came back into the dugout, he went right to Ervin Santana, appeared to apologize. Santana kind of waved his arms and said, "Don't worry about it."
Which is a nice thing for the pitcher to do. And there have been pitchers, obviously, that when something like that happens,
they lose it.
They absolutely lose it. That ball skipping off the mound, and at second base, Chris Getz, but does not get. And here comes Ozzie Guillen, who's going to get in the face of Angel Campos.
Well, Ozzie not afraid to speak his mind, but he quickly jumped onto the field to argue this one.
Well, Ozzie, who got drilled with a foul ball in that dugout yesterday, almost pulled a hammy jumping out of the dugout here today. The guy named Angel calls an Angel safe. Campos with the call. Chris gets a good dig. And the one bounce throw. Real close.
Oh, that was close. For a guy like Sean Figgins running, Chris Getz made that play look closer than a lot of second basemen would have made.
Here's a guy that was drilling foul balls towards Ozzie Guillen up at the plate right now. That's Eric Ibar.
So you and I, let's be ready. Here's that play again. Full stretch. Kotze, he cannot get any further than this as he picks it up.
Jerked foul by Ibar. Yeah, it was Ibar who was rifling baseballs into the dugout yesterday. Incoming.
Ozzie. Down went the Oz. A lot is coming after the game. Ibar doesn't hit the ball that hard. That bat must have been corked. Tongue in cheek, obviously.
Imagine Ozzie just throwing out something like that.
Just imagine.
Even good-naturedly. A man born without a mute button. Ozzie Guillen.
Ozzie's great for the game of baseball. I don't necessarily agree with everything he says or some of his opinions, but I like the fact that he is outspoken, stands up for his ball club, goes on public to criticize him and praises him on the public. Great for that city of Chicago.
His general manager, Kenny Williams, has been on record saying, you know, I didn't hire a guy to run IBM. The boss of a Fortune 500 company maybe can't get away with some of the things that Ozzie Guillen says, but Ken Williams says, I just need a baseball manager, not a CEO.
Can't argue the success he's had. The only Latin-born manager ever to have won a World Series.
Ibar sending this one into left center field. Rios runs it down. Folks, tomorrow the biggest games of the week right here on Fox. Week 1 NFL. Brett Favre makes his Vikings debut. You might have heard about that. Vikings take on the Browns. Tony Romo and the Cowboys are down in Tampa Bay. All kinds of great action. A great slate of opening weekend activity right here only on Fox tomorrow, starting at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. You got Eli Manning, their home opener against the Redskins. Check your local listings and to make sure you have activated the right people on your fantasy teams. All right, they much talked about Bobby Abreu.
You see a pitcher going, hey, let's wave it off. There's been many times when you pick me up with the glove and with the bat.
Talking about the football season getting going, a lot of these baseball players pretty excited. John Lackey has got season tickets for that new Dallas Cowboys stadium. The Angels will be playing the Rangers next weekend, and he's got plans with some of his teammates after the Angels-Rangers game is over. Walk those couple hundred yards, go on up into the suite, and watch a little Cowboys football. They play that Sunday evening, week 2.
Many ways you can pull a team together, and John Lackey is not afraid to do that.
John Lackey grew up watching Troy Aikman and points to the year that the Cowboys were 1-15, Troy's rookie year. And Lackey has often said that the grace with which Troy Aikman handled himself, that was one of the big reasons he became such a big Cowboys fan and Troy Aikman fan. Kind of inspired him that, all right, you know, you always hear about when the chips are down, how do you act? And it's one thing when your dad tells you that. It's another thing growing up in Abilene, Texas. You watch the way Troy Aikman conducted himself, taking his lumps at 1-15. Lackey always has said that's the biggest thing that's always stayed with him. Know that your day will come. Figgins on the move. Brzezinski guns it down there too late.
That is number 40 for Sean Figgins. We talked about the man as he becomes a free agent. Here's one of the reasons. He finally saw so many moves from Danks and eventually picked up and said, okay, now's a good time to go first move.
Brzezinski's only been throwing out 16% of attempted base stealers the last couple of years. Already got Kendrick today. Statistically, it wasn't likely he was also going to get Figgins. There's that patience of Bobby Abreu that we were talking about earlier. And indeed, if the Angels can get back in it here, Bobby Abreu has some amendments to make. That'll help. He keeps the inning hot for Vlad Guerrero.
Guerrero not trying to make up for anything by being over anxious. Gives Vlad Guerrero another opportunity. And Guerrero has to take a different approach than when he took that first inning. I mean, Danks made him swing and got him out with a pitch he wanted to get him out early in the count. Yes, he is a free swinger, but there's a time in which you have to understand and read more about the situation.
That is a take that almost gives you pause to think that, you know, maybe somebody said, hey, Vladdy, one time. Just take one, please.
What do you do if you're Danks right now? You go off the plate. Off the plate in.
As you called it, sir. Guerrero just couldn't help himself. He wasn't going to take two. To have 400 or more home runs and still be hitting above 320 for your career. A very short list of people who have done that.
This is what makes John Banks the guy that they can count on the mound right now. Just in this sequence against Guerrero, third inning, he represents a tying run. The way he's able to approach without trying to overthrow, but having a simple plan to execute.
Guerrero fights off the fastball.
See Vladdy shaking his head going, nope, not the swing that I can handle. And he'll do that very often, especially now. He's not the same guy with the same bat speed that he had 4, 5, 6 years ago. Pitchers are finding that more and more, not letting him get extended.
Tempted him with a pitch off the plate.
That being said about Guerrero, he can still match.
Well, reaching out just to make a little contact. It stays 2-2 with 2 on, 2 out. We will see a 26th pitch of this inning. And Jose, it's been said that a man with no strike zone is difficult to pitch to. Find a way to get Vlad Guerrero off the plate here.
Got a base hit the other day in Baltimore with a ball that bounced in front of the plate. Just looped it over the shortstop. Is that part of the hitting zones?
For Guerrero, yes. Vlad Guerrero is the tying man here. Hitting just a shade below a 300 batting average in what has been a down season. A 9th pitch of this at bat coming up. And the runners will be in motion.
Talk about bat that, as the Angels offense goes well, this is what Mike Scioscia saw more and more of, and is building pitch counts, taking advantage of one single pitch, and if it doesn't happen at that particular point of the ball game, eventually you will have seen more pitches, and you'll see more mistakes, and then you take advantage of those mistakes.
Runners go. Strike 3 called. John Danks gets it done. 3-0 Chicago. Bank of America. By Zantac, heartburn, attack it. Zantac. And by Chevy. John Danks walked the tightrope in that bottom of the third inning. It is still 3-0 Chicago. Ervin Santana deals a strike to Alexi Ramirez. There is one stark difference between Santana and Danks, and it's pretty much how those guys have pitched when the going is a little bit difficult. John Danks has done it well all year. Let's show you what he did with Vlad Guerrero.
Hey, pitch by pitch, take a look. Starts him with a strike, took something off of it, goes off the plate inside, and repeats the pitch now a little bit higher, changing the eye level. And Vladdy unable to extend. Now he's looking for the outer half. How do I get this guy to perhaps change his sequence and throw his timing off? So the outspeed outside, Vladdy outspeed inside, unable to pull it because he was thinking something hard. That's pitching.
That was a courageous pitch. And Vlad Guerrero, as we were talking about all at bat, a guy that loves to get up there and hack. He very seldom is called out on strikes. He was called out as the tying man. That one is in on Carlos Quentin and fouled. Ervin Santana on the mound. We talked just moments ago with his pitching coach, Mike Butcher.
Well, he's doing all right. I think he's kind of yanking his slider a little bit out of zone, not getting the chase too much on it. So hopefully he gets a little bit more over the plate, maybe bounce it so he gets some swing throughs. Fastball's coming out all right. You know, I think his tempo's just a little bit off. Hopefully he finds a nice rhythm right here and gets things going.
Mike, tell me about the addition of Scott Kazmir. You know him well from the past in Tampa Bay. What does he bring?
I think he brings a lot to the table. You know, as a guy, a great competitor, knows how to win. He's been a great addition to our pitching staff. I think our guys are excited about it. Looking for him to go out there every fifth day and give us a chance to win.
Butch, thanks so much for your time. Good luck.
You got it. Thank you.
Right.
Happy birthday, Mom.
All right.
I'm glad he got that in there. The public service that we provide for pitching coaches across the country. 3-2 to Quentin.
You know exactly how long to keep the microphone on after you say thank you.
It's a pro's pro, Mike Butcher. That ball laced, and it is, barely foul. Right near the chalk line. Dana DeMuth says Carlos Quentin does not get a double out of that.
Yeah, it's a little too much top hand, and he hooked it. Good job by the umpire. He's right on top of that one.
Ozzie hadn't been in the third base dugout. Maybe he sprints out to argue that one too. It's a long way to come from first base.
Ozzie had a good look too.
Walked him. Chris Getz will come to the plate. Folks, you're invited to join Major League Baseball and the People All-Stars among us in your community by signing up to volunteer at MLBGoBeyond.com. Major League Baseball also a significant part of I Participate, a major new initiative promoting volunteerism and community service. And for more information, you can log on to welcomebackveterans.org. One of the beneficiaries of that service.
I think it's great how everything has been tied in with so many people, baseball fans in the community where the big league teams are, and bring that all together, their passion for the game and what they do out there for the needy.
That ball chopped near first. There's Quinlan going to second base for one. Quick turn. Safe at first. They were just talking about the give back in that. As we check out the replay here, the guy eyeballing it from center field, Torrey Hunter, honored earlier this week for his work, not as a ball player, but as a humanitarian. The Branch Rickey Award, Thursday morning he found that out. Then Thursday afternoon was named the Angels nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award. That one gets decided during the World Series.
Hey, Torrey Hunter just told me about that, how much that means to him, the fact that it's not hardware. It's not a Gold Glove award. It's something that he's done to help others. He came from humble beginnings over in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He understands. And not lost on him, Josh, is who Branch Rickey was. So let's not just forget about me right now. Let's forget about me. Let's talk about Brandon Stricky, general manager for the Dodgers, who signed and gave a chance to Jackie Robinson.
Torrey very articulate when it comes to reliving the baseball history. The throw down to second base, not in time. The White Sox already up 3 and running with Chris Getz. Torrey Hunter off the field, obviously. Gotta love him. If you're a fan of defense, well, you are loving that too. Little regard for his own body. Santana gets a wave and a miss of Rios.
It seems like he has made most of those plays in situations where not making the play would have changed the ballgame.
Rios continues to struggle.
These guys, look at a game face. That's a game face right there. Huh?
We get up there and hit.
What?
Like right about now. Torrey Hunter and the Angels need to get it going. They're trailing 3-0 on Fox. White Sox have a couple of home runs, and there was an error charged to Bobby Abreu. A total of 3 for Chicago. The Angels still looking for their first run. Torrey Hunter takes a strike from John Danks. Hunter, Rivera, and Kendrick. A lot of righties stacked in the lineup today for Mike Scioscia against Danks. The Angels, who have won 7 of 8, they are 30 games over 500 now. Got a 5.5 game lead on the Rangers in the West. Rangers looking to play ball tonight against Seattle, but it is raining back in the Metroplex. Torrey Hunter guiding one into right field as the Angels look to get it going. Ozzie Guillen spent some time with us just a moment ago, and let's listen in. All right, Ozzie, so far, one inside the Parker, one outside the Parker. You guys have some runs on the board. What's making you happy, man?
Well, the thing is, our offense has been a struggle almost all year long, and right now, seeing every time we score some run, the team got better life, and the way we're pitching, hopefully we stay in the way we are right now.
And Ozzie, another dimension to that is being able to put guys in motion. Now you have guys like Rios and Ramirez and Quentin and Getz to get things going offensively.
Well, the first thing about it, they got to get on base before they can still second. But, I think it's more fun. I think is that you can create a lot of different things. Just not wait for the big bounce and home runs. I think on being the lineup, it will hit the home runs. But, the game's going to change. The game's going to change. You're going to see more speed in the bases. You're going to see with teams try to build around speed and defense. And right now we're doing that.
And obviously it helps, Ozzie, when your pitcher's going out there looking like John Danks.
Well, Johnny pitches real well all year long. I think this kid, every time you got to go out there, he gives you the best shot and he gives you the best he have.
Ozzie, thanks so much for your time, brother.
All right, man.
All right. And Ozzie Guillen's team ahead here, 3-0. This is where John Danks, by the way, has been very good. When he's ahead of somebody 0-2 and you should finish off a hitter, he has absolutely done that. It's a very stark contrast to Ervin Santana, who's allowed 10 hits already this year on an 0-2 count. And John Danks, the opponents are hitting 100 as they should, right, when it's 0-2.
We can see why. Does not lose focus at all.
Chop ball, third base. 5-4-3, double play. And again, John Danks allows a lot of leadoff base runners. That maybe is never going to change. It's what happens after that that's separating him from some of his peers.
Without forgetting that he actually missed his start because of some circulatory problems in his index finger. And to be able to carry that on and not use more time off than needed and say, I want the ball again because I can get guys out, maybe not have your best stuff, shows again why they are counting on him.
Kendrick takes outside. Well, the White Sox overall, I don't think you can find a lot of complaining to do when you talk about their starting rotation. They've got the most quality starts of any team in the league, more than Boston. But the Angels starters, that's what's been creating most of the dazzle over the last couple of weeks. High fly ball from Howie Kendrick up into the sunshine. Rios has got it. It is 3-0 White Sox at the end of 4. The Angels trail the White Sox today 3-0. We go to the 5th on Fox. Irvin Santana to Scott Podsednik, who's already raced around the bases once today. First at bat, he took 3 pitches, and he was out. Very quick at bat. And he was able to show some quick in that second at bat. The White Sox first inside the park home run in 7 years and 1 week. We've got the more conventional home run from Gordon Beckham today, the Rookie of the Year candidate. And a 3-0 lead here in the 5th. This will not be an inside the park home run, although Podsednik makes it a close play on a routine ground ball. Here's the inside the Parker.
Now he turns it on even more.
Abreu showed off a better arm than that later in the inning when he had to retrieve a ball that had fallen out of his glove, and he got the runner going into second base. Here is Beckham, and we mentioned a Rookie of the Year candidate. Let's see if we can bring in Ken Rosenthal in that regard.
Gordon Beckham is... Josh, there's no question that Gordon Beckham is a top candidate, but this race could be very close. On the pitching side alone, there's the Rays' Jeff Neiman, the Tigers' Rick Porcello, A's closer Andrew Bailey. And on the offensive side and defensive side, there's a guy, Josh, that you see an awful lot of, Elvis Andrus, the shortstop for the Texas Rangers. Offensively, .340 on-base percentage at age 20. He also has stolen 26 bases in 30 attempts. But the thing that defines Andrus is his defense. He has helped transform the Rangers into a pitching and defense team, and that, of course, has never been their strength.
I'm glad you did the heavy lifting on that argument, Kenny, as Beckham draws the walk. Yeah, full disclosure, I see Andrus a lot, and I'm so with you on that because of exactly what you said. The offensive numbers are competitive, and that's great. But I don't think you can put a full value, even though stat mavens try to do it these days, on how defense translates to wins. But the confidence that entire pitching staff has now to pitch to contact because they know Elvis Andrus will go get it.
It'll be an interesting test, Josh, of how much defense is valued by the voters. It's pretty rare when a candidate like Andrus wins this award.
Fly ball out from A.J. Pierzynski. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate your input. And, yeah, it is. I mean, it's the kind of race where there's not one clear-cut dude. Nobody's got a 25 home run season going or 17 win season. And as we're talking about the Rangers, again, there's some head-to-head action against these Angels. 7 games, matter of fact, 3 of them next weekend in Arlington. All of a sudden for the Rangers, I mean, they've got a really bizarre thing going on where, having played a doubleheader last week, they then went on to Cleveland, got a rainout, had to play a doubleheader, and then a day game right away. It was 3 games in 19 hours. As Jermaine Dye comes up here, 1-0 to him.
The Angels have to see the Rangers, as we mentioned, still many, many times ahead. The Angels' ERA against Texas is 6.34.
And the Rangers have won 9 out of 12. And they're about to do that jam-packed schedule thing again. Snap throw. Safe. Pudge Rodriguez back in Arlington. Gonna have a little contented smile on his face, thinking, yeah, I've picked guys off like that before.
That was a quick release, a little sleepier there for Beckham, but he's able to get back.
He got a pop right in the kisser there too on the tag.
Some athleticism there, changing the direction of his hands.
Runner goes. A wave and a miss, and this time the throw is to second base. It's not in time. It clangs off of Kendrick and into shallow center field. And now what do we have? Back to first. Did Jermaine Dye interfere with Jeff Mathis? Here comes Ozzie Guillen, here comes Mike Scioscia, and Doug Eddings is right in the middle. You have two managers in his grill.
It appears like Doug Eddings made the decision quickly and told Beckham, get back to first base. Now Ozzie wants to hear about it. And Jermaine Dye's presenting his case.
Again, Eddings was in the middle of a lot of controversy when the White Sox and Angels played in the playoffs 4 years ago. Let's see what we can pick up here. Here's a swing.
See how far Dye gets in there.
Well, and in that ALCS, it wasn't Eddings' call on that one, but Game 4, a no catcher's interference call on A.J. Pierzynski when Steve Finley was at the plate was a big deal. Is part of the discussion here, Jose, whether or not Dye endeavored to get out of the way, because that's a broad pair of shoulders he's got there that Mathis is trying to navigate around.
One thing we know is he got Mathis with a back swing. Mathis was bending down, but in terms of being on his way and making that throw, it did not appear that way.
So Ozzie is now quarreled with Angel Campos at first base and Doug Eddings at home plate.
Watch a backswing here. Got Mathis right on the bat, but Mathis never actually made contact with Jermaine Dye.
I think Scioscia wants Dye called out. Of course, Ozzie Guillen wants his base runner at third. Essentially just send Beckham back to first and say, let's do this again. 1 and 2. It'd be pretty funny if they picked him off right now.
Well, he almost did get picked up. His shoulders were leaning heavily towards second base. If I'm Ozzie Guillen, I'm going to send him right now again. This is a good slider count for Santana, the 1 and 2 pitch.
He does love throwing that pitch.
Again, the opposite dugout, you're Mike Scioscia saying, well, it's a great time to, as we know well the way we run the bases, mix it in. There's all communication with Scioscia and his catcher, what he wants to do to control the running game.
Runner goes. Dye gets out of the way. The throw is going to be not in time. So essentially, for the second time during this at bat, Beckham steals second base.
Slider, as predicted. The throw, a good throw, but not there on time. And I like the aggressiveness shown by both managers. They both understood and knew what the other one was going to do. It's good baseball.
Three balls, 2 strikes to a slumping Jermaine Dye.
I'm going to think now where Ervin Santana cannot let this snowball now. This is a clutch inning for him. He has to make pitches. Got the lefty behind Jermaine Dye, who has been struggling at the plate.
Chop ball wide of third. Yeah, Kotsay has been hitting everything the last week or so. And Jermaine Dye, since the All-Star break, I mean, he's trying to make his case, Jose, that he's not a 36-year-old whose best days are behind him. But boy, it's tough to make that argument with what's happening since the All-Star break.
Strong first half.
A tapper towards short. Santana doesn't have to worry about Kotsay quite yet. It stays 3-0 Chicago. innovation of flavor and refreshment, Budweiser, the great American lager. Now the Angels and the White Sox, they were combatants in the postseason not too long ago. And the White Sox ended up winning that and going all the way to the World Series. Today, the White Sox just trying to make their case that they can be in contention to get into the 2009 postseason. And a lot of work to do.
Well, consider, Josh, Freddie Garcia, John Garland, Jose Contreras, and Mark Burley pretty much carried them throughout the postseason.
Yep.
They're brilliant. Freddie Garcia's back with the White Sox. He's throwing the ball well. Jose Contreras had a good first outing since he got traded to the Colorado Rockies. Really young Freddie.
Quinlan hits about a 40 hopper and a frisbee toss off of Danks. That's unbelievable that Quinlan gets a base hit on that.
Ouch.
I mean, that ball just ate him up. Yet he's at first base.
Looks like a perfectly placed bunt, and then the race with the pitcher. As Kase throws the ball behind him. Danks unable to keep that balance and find the bag, and at the same time find the ball. Hey, it's a knock. What, Josh?
Takes hit.
6 hits today, all of them singles now for the Halos.
Once again, that was a good pitch by Danks. He's pounding the right-handers inside with a cut fastball.
And once again for Danks, somebody gets on to lead off an inning, but as has been the case throughout the year, and certainly today, it's what he does after that. Got a double play from Rivera last inning. This time it's Jeff Mathis at the plate. In a game where the two teams, Jose, are combined at 2 for 19 with men on base.
Angels team that has been outstanding throughout the whole season in that situation precisely.
Jeff Mathis, who was behind the plate for some controversy in the top of the inning. Inadvertent batter interference is what Doug Eddings ended up ruling there, which nullifies advancement. Beckham was looking to get from first all the way to third. Was told to go back to first on the Jermaine Dye bat. Mathis with a foul. High pop foul by Mathis, and we'll take you to Doug Eddings. Some sounds of the game to explain what that was all about. That's why the batter was not called out. But Mike Scioscia wanted to have him on that play. 2-2 the count now to Mathis.
There's never any contact between the thrower Mathis and the hitter Jermaine Dye. So it's all about the backside.
John Danks dials it down and strikes out Mathis. Mathis a victim for a second time today. 5 strikeouts overall for Danks.
Great sequence again. Pounding inside, working the outer half, and then working softly outside, and able to finish off hitters sometimes with soft stuff from the middle in. Look at the movement here.
Double play still in order, but a very tough guy to double up right here, Sean Figgins. And strike one dealt to him.
For all the things Sean Figgins has done, Josh, and he is so proud of one element: walks. 91 walks, leading the American League. translates into stolen bases, which translates into runs scored, where he also leads the American League.
Just a tremendous all-around season, and as we talked about, the White Sox, maybe the Yankees, I would think there are a bunch of teams that would be interested in having Sean Figgins for 2010. I'll have Ken Rosenthal weigh in on that in just a moment. Towards right. And caught. Quick throw back towards first base is not in time. So Ken Rosenthal, one of the Sean Figgins sweepstakes. Is there going to be one?
Oh, there's going to be some sweepstakes here, Josh. And who would have thought a year ago or 2 years ago that Sean Figgins might be more in demand as a free agent than Vladimir Guerrero? Yet, that is exactly what's going to happen. You heard Ozzie Guillen talk about the need for speed before in his interview. Well, the White Sox are one team that could be interested in Figgins, the Cubs another, and don't rule out the Yankees. Think about it. Johnny Damon is a free agent. Figgins could replace him, drop Jeter back into the 2 spot, and away they go.
So they'd have the top 2 guys in the American League in runs scored then. Great. Figgins and Damon. Although you're right, Damon would probably have to be moved at that point. Those are the top 2 guys in runs right now, Figgins and Damon. One would replace the other, I guess, in that scenario. And that slash and dash element that Figgins brings has become a very popular thing to watch here in Anaheim. That ball fouled by Ibar.
Well, consider he's not your prototypical third baseman because, as the experts or evaluators want to say, he doesn't have the power. Okay, great. But he helps you win ball games in so many different ways. And for Sean Figgins, it doesn't matter where you play him. He's an everyday contributor. He has played center field for the Angels. He has played left field. He's played right field. But second base, his natural position, perhaps could be his best. Even though at third base, you know what, he is not bad at all. He's outstanding.
He is generally listed at 5'8". He's 5'8". David Eckstein is 6'1". But Ken Rosenthal, what else you got?
Josh, about his defense at third base, you look at those advanced defensive metrics that teams use now. Sean Figgins is one of the top-rated defensive third basemen in virtually all of those. So really, it's a testament to his work ethic, how he has developed into a top-flight defensive third baseman.
That ball caught in center field, and Figgins, if not everybody else knows about it, they're going to know pretty soon. He is in demand. He is good. It's 3-0 Chicago today.
Sitting off the sixth pitch for Chicago, number 30, first baseman, Mark Kotsay.
Santana and the Angels trailing here, moving on to the 6th inning. But the key for Ervin Santana, mechanics, consistency, and to me is the push-off leg, Josh. He needs to really bend it, push off of it to keep consistency with that hip turn, developing a consistent path to the plate, and also enabling some of the hitters to read fastball or slider late.
Early this year when he was struggling, was that out of whack for him?
That was out of whack, and he did his bullpen sessions, making sure he doesn't think so much about the radar gun, but understanding mechanics and that push-off. That's where you base everything from. If he rushes towards the plate, you'll see that he doesn't bend it as much. When he's going real well, you'll see that leg bend straight over the top.
As broken down by Jose Mota.
Plus, let's not forget, mechanics in check after an elbow injury are even more important. He started the season onto the Sable list.
Kotsay called back here. Remember when he got off the disabled list, it was not going well. He had that game against these White Sox where he gave up 9 hits, 7 runs in 1 inning. Big friendly hop at first base for Quinlan. 1 up, 1 down, and Fox Saturday Baseball is presented by Budweiser. It's sponsored by DirecTV. Follow your favorite team no matter where you live with NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV. Also by KFC. Now get the great taste of new Kentucky Grilled Chicken on the KFC Ultimate Value Menu. And by Catuet. Alexei Ramirez, 0 for 2. Be followed by Carlos Quentin. That ball rammed in a left field, base hit. We were talking about Santana, a guy who's always had a lively arm. But like many young pitchers before him, had to find a way to harness that raw electricity, kind of channel it into something productive. That time was last year. He became an ace. Here's the in-game box score for the White Sox, brought to you by Hyundai. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. And that puts Sednick inside the park home run. The most exciting element today. And just back to talking about Santana, Jose. Last year, I think in large measure was all about the strikeouts. 214 of them. The most by an Angels righty since Nolan Ryan. Laced foul by Quentin.
Very unusual. Watch the top hand for Carlos Quentin. And the thumb, especially how it's still on the barrel right here. The handle. Sticking up. Almost like holding a golf club. I don't see a lot of ball players do that.
You also don't see most hitters snuggle up to that inside corner quite the way that Quentin does. He gets hit with a lot of pitches because of that.
Not afraid to get hit. Crowding the play makes it such a tough target sometimes when you want to throw something outside and you miss outside because it covers so well. He hit it with power. There's that thumb. That's very unusual.
And he fouls this one back.
You got to figure, Josh, he's not all the way back. When you consider his power, how he crowds the plate, a wide base, to have foot problems, you know, that is your foundation. Those are your legs or your base, your foundation to drive off of. And with the problems he's had, he's not all the way back. You make mistakes, yeah, he has very strong arms.
Trying to fight this one into shallow center field. He's done it. For the Angels, who make their living going first to third, they watch the White Sox do it. Runners at the corners and just one out. A reminder that tomorrow Fox NFL Sunday returns. The guys will take a look at the upcoming season and all the new faces in the NFC. Plus, they'll preview the Week 1 clash between the Redskins and the Giants. It's all on the Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show. It's tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Best thing will happen to Brett Favre, Adrian Peterson. Yes, no, agree?
No, I agree. That will take some pressure off. Chris Getz will foul one back. Tomorrow's a great day across the country. Week 1 officially kicking off. Of course, there's already one game in the bank, and that one went overtime. Great start to the NFL season.
Countdown begins. Don't forget about the guy replacing Terrell Owens in Dallas as a receiver. You know a lot about that, don't you?
We see the Cowboys tomorrow on Fox against Tampa Bay. There's that hard slider. Make it 0-2 on Getz. You saw that stat just a moment ago, how the White Sox, and they're not the only ones kind of falling under this spell, but nobody's getting a hit when it counts, it seems, against the Angels. 0 for 30 with runners in scoring position.
Gotta think punch out right here. Nothing too good to hit.
Tried to get him to bite on that slider again. Fly ball towards right. Been an interesting day for Abreu today. He's going to catch this one just fine. Fire in. That arm still works great. Mathis with the tag. Got him. Never been a question about the strength of the arm from Bobby Abreu. Just actually catching the ball. It stays 3-0. Today's Flomax replay now with Bobby Abreu trying to get it with the gloved left hand that ends up hitting him in the bare right hand. This would end up being an inside the park home run for Scott Podsednik. But we should also mention that Bobby Abreu now has a couple of outfield assists today. He just threw out a man trying to score on him in the top of the 6th inning. Now he will bat in the bottom of the 6th against John Danks.
Yeah, that could be a momentum changer right there for the former Gold Glove Award winner, playing for the Phillies in 2005.
Well, John Danks has been tough all day. Here's Bobby Abreu lining one up and taking care of Alexei Ramirez.
How nice that he got behind that ball to get some momentum going towards the plate. A lot of young outfielders nowadays stand under the ball for too long and cannot push off and get nice momentum going towards the base they're trying to throw to.
So instead of 4-0 Chicago, 3-0 Chicago. Danks with 5 shutout innings, but it took him 92 pitches to get through those 5 innings. It's his first game with 2 assists in a little more than 5 years. Ooh, Danks wanted that, and Doug Eddings flinched but didn't call it. Abreu, we've talked about, kind of the king of the take. Will take the close ones, and I don't know, maybe he gets the benefit of the doubt sometimes, but
reputation created.
Yeah,
follows him.
Tough pitch to take. And it was called a ball.
Going back to pitchers having the same type of reputation. Going back to the days of Maddox and Smolson, Glavine, and Atlanta. You know why they got the 3-4 inches off the plate? Because they could repeat those smartly.
And now Danks missed and has to avoid thinking about the one that got away. The one, a couple before that he thought he had for strike 3. Folks, next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, the playoff race heating up. The Tigers and the Twins, or the Giants, looking to gain ground in the NL wild card, taking on the Dodgers. Some of you may see the Cubs and the Cardinals. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Budweiser, returning next week at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, right here on Fox.
The Giants, Dodgers this weekend and up next weekend. Big game, especially for the Giants.
First pitch swing for Guerrero again. It's a sunshine ball out there, handled by Jermaine Dye. Boy, a 1-pitch at bat, then a 9-pitch at bat, then another 1-pitch at bat for Vlad Guerrero today. The National League, boy, the Colorado Rockies just will not lose, and they're making that very difficult for the Giants as they try to sneak in somehow. They are making the Dodgers check that rearview mirror daily now, too.
Jim Tracy with an outstanding job since taking over those Rockies. They're a different ball club. Aggressive, same talent, but that talent has been taken to a new level.
Hunter drops down the bunt. Quick throw. Got him. Nice play. Beckham charging. Kind of sniffed it out. That's not bunting to move a guy, right? I mean, you're down 3-0. There's 1 out. That's Torrey Hunter seeing Beckham playing back and trying to get on.
You're looking for base runners somehow. And then what you're telling your teammates as a guy that has 20 homers and 80 RBIs, this guy's been throwing the cut fastball inside. Great pitch to bunt down that side. Hey, we need base runners. Not just my swing. We need base runners. But he ran into a young man who continues to do an outstanding job at third base for the White Sox.
And boy, we've been ringing this bell all day regarding John Danks, but, you know, a frustrating thing for him. He walks Abreu, then he gets 2 outs on the next 2 pitches.
Seems like he's not comfortable unless there's a guy leading up an inning on base.
Right. And then once somebody's on, he just kind of bears down and gets it done. The Angels are 1 for 13 today with men on base.
Just the way Juan Rivera took that first pitch tells me the pattern's there. It's in the Angels' head right now. Fastball inside.
There's some serious action on that one. Kind of biting right down and in on Rivera.
Here's what I'm talking about. This is going out too early. And that's where you're thinking, okay, fastball in. Well, he's able to change that to you too, give you a different look. Might be a fastball, but a 2-seam fastball running away.
In the air left field. And the Angels are 1 for 14 with men on base. The White Sox still on top will return after a word from your local Fox station. Budweiser, the great American lager. It's the White Sox 3, the Angels nothing today. Ervin Santana getting through 6 innings. That has not been a problem of late. But it's been getting on to innings like 7 and 8 that have just not been happening for him. A very consistent 6-inning guy the last few weeks. Alex Rios at the plate. We go to Ken Rosenthal as we begin the 7th.
Josh, as well as Ervin Santana has thrown today, there is a very good chance that he would not be part of the Angels' postseason rotation. You think about it. Lackey, Weaver, Kazmir, Saunders. There's no room for Santana there. What they could do with him is put him in the bullpen.
Superman just cut you off there. Sorry about that, Kenny. That's Torrey Hunter again. Been doing that for 10 years now. Get back to Ken in just a moment. Check this out. This one doesn't even make the top 20, though, for Torrey.
I mean, great read. He tends to glide with the pitch, follows swings smartly. Instincts unparalleled.
Alex Rios can't buy a hit. All right, I'm sorry, Kenny, go ahead.
Well, Torrey did make a great play there. Anyway, Ervin Santana could end up in their bullpen for the postseason. Pitching coach Mike Butcher told me yesterday that all 5 of the Angels starters could work in relief, but obviously Santana would be the odd man out. Looking ahead, what is really interesting here with the addition of Kazmir is if the Angels played the Red Sox again and needed a Game 3 starter in Boston, Kazmir is the perfect guy. 2-0 at Fenway this year, 6 shutout innings against the Red Sox at Fenway in Game 5 of last year's ALCS. He could come in very handy.
It's a really interesting pickup. I mean, it was at the time that they did it. They take on a lot of money, take on a lot of responsibility, obviously, with Kazmir. But Ken brings up a fascinating point. Ervin Santana is a guy that last year, we mentioned this, had 214 strikeouts, led the league, most by an Angels righty since Nolan Ryan. Unbelievable season. Second lowest on base percentage in the league behind Roy Halladay. And here we are talking about him going to the bullpen.
That's how deep and rich you are.
Deep and rich. Like big and rich. And Gordon Beckham is out as we get to the 7th inning stretch with an 8-pitch inning. Torrey Hunter, nice work. Decision engine from Microsoft. By Hyundai Assurance, a little certainty in uncertain times. And by Pepsi. Pepsi's the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. 3-0 Chicago today. And time for the Taco Bell Bring the Heat comparison. John Danks very consistent. Same for Ervin Santana. Santana just might be able to continue in this game. John Danks will not. Clocked in with his 7th consecutive quality start. 6 innings, fewer than 3 runs. In fact, 0 runs allowed today. But now Danks is out, and Octavio Dotel is in.
Danks giving them exactly what they needed to stay in this race.
Dotel opens here with Howie Kendrick. Then Quinlan was supposed to bat next, but Maicevis Torres has already come out on deck. And a lefty swinger in there against Dotel. And again, just kind of following form, I guess, Jose. The Angels had the leadoff man on often against John Danks, just could never get him around and in.
Thanks to the execution, he repeated time after time after time. It didn't matter which part of the lineup it was. He stayed with the same pattern, same plan, able to put the ball exactly where he wanted.
White Sox trying to get to within 5.5 of first in the Central. Kendrick down on strikes. And a good first step for Dotel today.
He's always had the good stuff. A great bridge for the White Sox. They're trying to get to Bobby Jenks along with Scott Lineberg. Thornton with a great arm also from the left side.
Rather than his Torres, it looks like they're going to put Kendry Morales up there now. And I guess that makes sense from a straight up swap situation. Morales goes in for Quinlan. But with nobody on, it's kind of interesting, I think, too. I mean, this Torres is a guy that you're looking to get on. Morales is a guy you're looking to bring him in.
Now he's got Sturris on deck for Mathis. Little flip-flop for Mike Scioscia.
Morales quickly behind 0-2. 30 home runs, 98 runs batted in. As again, the Angels made the decision to let Mark Teixeira walk away.
How about trying to escape from Cuba 12 different times and going to jail 3 times for trying to escape?
That's perseverance. Although here he is quickly down on strikes. Time for the Just for Men hair color hold leaders. Just as these relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. So the 13th time was a charm for Kendry Morales.
Finally get out of there. Look at the results, huh? He says that the Angels was the last team he actually tried out for back in the Dominican Republic.
That's the team he's got the future with now. Here is his Torres after all. Ended up being on deck a couple times. Well, they said in spring training about Kendry Morales, Mike Scioscia summed it up. He said, if we're wrong on Kendry Morales, it'll be the worst miss we've ever had here. I mean, they needed him to step out and have this kind of season, knowing that Teixeira was going to have this kind of season over in New York. A lot of people kind of jumping on the Angels saying, see, they should have re-signed Teixeira.
Right. Artie Moreno, after the trade for Teixeira, for Casey Cochran, said, we have a guy that we believe in if we cannot re-sign Mark Teixeira. Well, the plan worked perfectly. And Morales, you know, the experience he had back in Cuba, formidable, very valuable. But also the Angels took him through the system one step at a time, gave him some big league time, get a taste of it, but they saw he was not afraid.
Little pop into shallow left field is going to drop a base hit for his Torres. Well, the Angels, all 7 hits today, have been for 1 base. Sean Figgins will come up next.
Sturris, who came in at 297, gets another Angels player close to or right at 300.
Runner going right away. A.J. Pierzynski stands and fires. They got him at second base. And down 3-0. They're wanting to run on A.J. Pierzynski. But A.J. Pierzynski lowers the boom. It stays 3-0 Chicago. Matt Palmer comes in the game, and he will take over for Ervin Santana now. Santana, instead of his usual 6 innings of work, and that's been kind of the standard issue game for him. Well, he goes 7 today. And now Matt Palmer, 10-1, will take over. Kendry Morales stays in the game at first. His Torres stays in the game at second. Bobby Wilson's catching now. A.J. Pierzynski has thrown out a couple of Angels trying to steal today. Today, the White Sox got a home run in the first inning from Gordon Beckham, his 11th. Got an inside-the-park home run from Scott Podsednik. That was in the 3rd inning, his 6th of the year. Bobby Abreu error, accounting for the other run. Morales with a scoop. He leads Palmer to the bag. Now Jermaine Dye to the plate, and he and Paul Konerko. A race to see who gets to 324 home runs. Who shall it be? Who shall it be? Your winner is Paul Konerko.
Well, getting to 300 evenly at the same time.
Back to back.
Huh?
Now the question about Jermaine Dye, though, and we kind of hinted at this earlier today, is what's next? There's an option on his contract that the White Sox hold, and there's no way that they're looking to exercise that for 2010. I think Jermaine Dye was hoping with a solid year here in 2009 they could negotiate something going forward. I'm just not hearing much about that.
There's nothing wrong with 25 home runs, but it's just the lack of production lately. Mainly what has brought on those questions up.
Ken Rosenthal has a thought on Jermaine Dye.
Josh, in recent years, we've seen that the market has gotten really difficult for older players such as Dye who are declining in performance. Frank Thomas didn't get a job this year. Jim Edmonds didn't get a job this year. I'm not suggesting that is going to happen with Dye, but there are a number of outfielders and especially DH types that are going to flood the market. It's not going to be easy for him.
Yeah, and this is a guy who, I think solid is the word I always come back to with Jermaine Dye. He's very seldom spectacular, but just solid. Last year, 34 home runs, 96 runs batted in. He'll help somebody, but yeah, it probably won't be for the kind of coin he's making right now.
There you go. That's a lot of veteran players like his type will have to understand and be flexible when it comes down to extending your career. It's not going to be about the paycheck only anymore. It's about, do you still really want to play? And forget about what you made before. Put the uniform on.
Dye works the walk. Kotsay comes to the plate. Folks, Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, congratulating Hideki Matsui, who the fans have voted to be the MLB Clutch Performer for the month of August. You can learn more about the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month award at PepsiClutch.com. Derek Jeter, speaking of the New York Yankees, yesterday, getting past Lou Gehrig, all-time Yankee hit leader. Got a pinch runner to tell you about here, too. Dwayne Wise will take over for Dye.
How fitting for Derek Jeter to do it at home and to hit a bullet down the first baseline. Huh?
A pretty happy night, except for the score. Baltimore rallied to win that game. Close play at first.
Showing a good move there by Matt Palmer. And Morales with a quick tag. Coming off the bench is not easy all the time. We've done the flow of the game to have your reaction time as quickly as you need it. Two great stories here. Guy at first base, Dwayne Wise, and that perfect game by Mark Buehrle. And then Matt Palmer, who was not even pitching that well in AAA, gets up to the Angels. He is 10-1.
That is phenomenal. And the Angels needed to kind of spackle things over for a while. Things obviously with the tragedy with Nick Adenhart and a very large population on the DL. They needed somebody to step up, and really this year it was Palmer. Fouled by Kotsay.
Not a good feeling about it. Both of them considered minor league veterans. Both Palmer on the mound and Wise at first base, getting the opportunity at the right time, and not just getting it, but contributing also right away.
Infield, the double play depth. Kotsay taking down and in. Well, the Angels, again, last year they won the AL West. That was the fourth time in the last 5 years they had done it. They kind of cruised to that title last year, but to make it 5 times in 6 years, they're going to have to hold off a very feisty Texas Ranger team. Just refuses to go away. 7 more games head-to-head, Rangers and Angels.
We were talking earlier about Elvis Andrus, what he's done to stabilize that shortstop position. Guys pitching to contact. I mean, what a great job by the pitching staff. By Mike Maddox, the pitching coach, all the way filtering down from Nolan Ryan. The programs that he wanted implemented, to see it pay off really says a lot.
And a manager of the year possibility for Ron Washington in Texas.
As you mentioned, I mean, they talk about Washington and now the team reflecting more his personality.
Rangers also trying to catch the Red Sox, as we mentioned earlier. The wild card portal available there. A 2-game deficit for Texas to make up, as opposed to 5.5 in the AL West. Runner goes, and a ground ball second base. Quick turn, look at that! Wow! 6-3 double play.
With a little bit of scale action by Izturis. Oh, with number 13.
Izturis and Ibar making magic up the middle. It's been happening before here in 2009.
These are things you can talk about.
Gives it to Ibar. Oh my goodness, what a play! Shock the house. Cheese and crackers, and while you're at it, you eat them. Call the cops. It's unbelievable.
Well, who was on the mound when that happened, Josh? Matt Palmer.
And it just happened again. Some more larceny. A great double play. Matt Thornton comes in the game. The one we just showed you, August 27th, and here on September the 12th. A similar piece of wizardry up the middle. That's a little shuffle toss.
I don't know if that ball was in that glove for half a second by Izturis.
Matt Thornton has taken over on the mound for Chicago. A 3-0 game in the 8th. And that ball swatted foul.
You have to anticipate this, too, isn't it? Straight steal. He looks in, but Izturis says, hey, I know my shortstop. He wants the ball. He's, in fact, anticipating the ball. I'm going to throw it out there. You got to have skills, and you have to have a good arm and anticipate playing next to somebody that wants to make that play with you.
Matt Thornton deals. Izturis also got down under that ball just in time. Ibar was, he had to come across the bag and just fire. Izturis is what, 5'9"? If he was 5'11", that one knocks his cap off.
You better believe it.
As for our Zantac relief pitcher profile, a little something on Matt Thornton. Bart Byrne, attack it. Zantac. Here with a 6-3 record, 2.5 ERA.
This guy's got closer stuff.
Wormburner to second base. One down, bottom 8. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Budweiser, sponsored by Holiday Inn, official partner of Major League Baseball road trips. Also by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. And by Sears. Sears, life well spent. Ibar showing bunt takes a strike. He has 18 bunt hits this year. That leads the major leagues. John Danks went 6 very solid innings today. It's been Dotel and Thornton since then. That's some nasty stuff right there. 97 and it moves.
Good movement. Downhill, tall on the mound, straight over the top. Fluid, nothing is forced, and look at that ball go down naturally. Closer's stuff. Yes, he can do it. Going back to that, I mean, who would have thought that David Arsman is going to have 34 saves for the Seattle Mariners?
Yeah.
And again, everything was based on his stuff. Velocity. It's always been there.
That ball whacked into center field. A base hit for Ibar. The Angels have some thumpers coming up now. The in-game box score for the Angels brought to you by Hyundai, introducing the all-new 306 horsepower rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. There's some production from the top of that order today.
The key is here. The White Sox have been able to do in the middle of the order. Keep it quiet.
Bobby Abreu's been on base 3 times. Got a single and a couple of walks. Base hit left field. And he's now a 300 hitter, not just for the year, but for his career, right on the button. All those at-bats, all that time, it's 300 dead even, and it brings up Vlad Guerrero, who can make the game. Dead even, too.
So let's see Bobby Abreu helping you in setting the table and taking what is given to him.
If you go with a righty right now to face Guerrero and then a Hunter and Rivera, I guess they're going with your closer, Bobby Jenks, who just got up to get loose. That was only the second hit, by the way, that one from Abreu with a runner on base, and it was not exactly classic Bobby Abreu stuff in that he offered it the very first pitch he saw. In the meantime, Vlad Guerrero gets up there and takes the first pitch that he sees. Can't help himself. He swings and it works. No way he takes 2. It is 3-1. Three straight singles for the Angels.
Once you realize how good Danks was, this is a matter of a couple of inches margin, missing and up the plate, or getting a little bit up the plate for Guerrero to muscle it up the middle.
Terry Evans will pinch run for Vlad Guerrero. The rally monkey had been jumping around on the scoreboard as the inning began, kind of a precursor to what now is happening. Again, you got righties stacked in the lineup today. And now the lefty out there on the mound, Matt Thornton, seemed to make a lot of sense earlier in this inning. 8th inning setup guy, no big deal. And now with the Angels, given an opportunity to tie or take the lead in the bottom of the 8th. It's the lefty Thornton on the mound, the righty Torii Hunter at the plate. Hunter 2 for 7 lifetime against Thornton. This is kind of old school Angels baseball right now. Get up there and hack.
We've seen so many pitches. You go out there with all the knowledge you've acquired throughout the afternoon. And for Thornton, he came into this game righties hitting only .226 against him, and overall a .213 average between both righties and lefties. I have no problems with this move.
Of the last 6 pitches thrown by Thornton, the Angels have swung at 5 of them. And 3 have ended up as base hits. There's a swing. A 4th single in a row for the Angels. Throw coming in. Cut off. And Jose Mota, nobody does conveyor belt baseball like the Angels. It's been an entire decade of exactly this.
Well, we take a look at pitch by pitch. What Thornton wanted to do, just go right after him. He got a couple of foul balls, and then you talk about timing. That's what you do as a hitter. When you see a couple of pitches, perhaps you miss a couple of them, then you say, I got to shorten up. He's going to provide the power. He got it done.
Pitching change coming. 3-2 Chicago. The former Angel farmhand who has turned into a world-class caliber stopper for the Chicago White Sox, Bobby Jenks, has had just 1 save opportunity in the last 3 weeks. He's got one here, not in the 9th, but in the 8th. Trying to stem the tide. The Angels with 4 straight singles that close to within 3-2.
Direction for 5 outs That's what you're asking for from your closer.
Juan Rivera, the batter, has already hit into a double play today. And it looks like he's done it again. 6-4, 3 DP. 1 pitch, 2 outs. And the White Sox keep the lead. The Angels out hitting the White Sox 11-7, but trailing the game 3-2 as the 9th inning begins. All 11 hits have been singles for the Angels today. As it looked like the Angels were poised to take the lead, with the rally monkey jumping around on the scoreboard and the fans getting into it. Bobby Jenks got it done. The game-changing play brought to you by Holiday Inn. Signs of change are everywhere. And a 280-pound Philly going out there on the mound, Jose Mota.
Ate the pitch when he needed to. Talk about Bobby Jenks, and talking also, Josh, about the team that came in with the most errors in the American League, turning a big double play there. He came into this game with 103 errors this season.
Yep, most in the league, but they've turned 3 double plays today. That one needing just the 1 pitch thrown by Jenks. And the Angels, it just had that feel, that classic Angel rally kind of feel. 4 straight singles over a stretch of, 9 pitches. Then a very loud slamming of the door.
Well, if you're going to need that many pitches, that many outs from your closer, he was smart enough to say, here it is, little sinker ball.
In for a strike to Carlos Quentin from Palmer. First out of the inning here in the 9th, achieved on a fairly routine fly ball towards right. But it was a fairly routine fly ball to right that Bobby Abreu couldn't handle back in the 3rd inning that stands up as a difference in this game. That dropped fly ball. That's why the White Sox got that 3rd run.
Line shot by Mark Kotsay.
There's a liner by Quentin foul.
I think Quentin's got that side covered. What do you think?
Yeah.
He has smoked about 3 balls that way. Again, all a product of how far in he is on the plate.
Again, gets hit by a fair amount of pitches because he does come right up to the inside corner. Now he draws the walk. A programming reminder, tomorrow the season beginning with a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Brett Favre making his Vikings debut. A lot of you will see the Cowboys take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Redskins and Giants go late. Some other action for you as well. It all starts with America's #1 pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check your local listings for the games and start times in your area. High chopper near second base. A tag. And that's all they get. More of a collision than a tag. You'll see hard-hitting action like that on the football gridiron tomorrow. We mentioned Brett Favre against the Cleveland Browns. And you referenced Roy Williams earlier, trying to fill the void left by T.O. in Dallas.
He is on the spot. He and Tony Romo need to bring it. I think they will.
Cowboys breaking in that incredible new stadium. But they open on the road tomorrow. You'll see the Cowboys in Tampa Bay. Here's another look at that collision. Quentin and Ibar.
Well, good job by Ibar, number one. If you're going to go run into somebody or try to tag somebody, make sure you have both hands together, especially a truck coming at you like Carlos Quentin. And not think about the double play before you have that first out.
Well, things have just been brutal for Alex Rios of late. 5 for his last 60 trips to the plate. But a line drive into the alley here would make for a happy Ozzie Guillen and try to get another run on that board here. And the Angels came in with a 5.5 game lead in the AL West. The Rangers are scheduled to play tonight. And it continues to rain and rain in Arlington. They already had a game washed out yesterday. Had a doubleheader scheduled tomorrow. They're hoping to play a game tonight.
Hoping?
Hoping. It will need a little Mother Nature cooperation, which they are apparently not getting.
That's a good lead by a good base runner. That's what you want right now. Get the attention of Matt Palmer, get to see his best move, and then it's up to Ozzie to say go or no. He is 22 for 24 in stealing bases. Young second baseman up first base right now.
Had a pretty healthy lead, and he took a running start but didn't get going as Palmer dealt the strike.
The thing you can do here as a base runner is that just by presenting the threat of stealing a base, you might get more fastballs for Alex Rios. You don't think he wants to see more of those straight ones right now?
That's a great point. A good way to get out of a 5 for 60 is to be knowing you're getting the fastball.
But even if you're not stealing, you get out there and be aggressive, at least show you're going to have a one-way lead regardless, but make that pitcher think out there and perhaps call something different.
Not a fastball quite yet. That might have been the pitch to be running on in retrospect, huh?
Yeah, Mike Scioscia controls that running game with his catcher. There's a thumb. This ball's not coming home.
I mean, send it on over there to Kendry Morales for the 40th time today.
There it is. So it could be first touch, it could be second touch, it could be last touch on Mike Scioscia's face as he tells his catcher what he wants him to do.
Now an actual pitch.
Went through 4 signs there.
With the runner going, and a wave and a miss. Throw down is going to be not in time. After all that, it is a steal for Getz. And as you say, Jose, still has been caught only twice all year.
He's got great instincts. You'll see why. He's not afraid to get out there with his lead. Not tentative at all. And then one way. As Ricky Henderson says, hey, I'm not going to slide feet first. My momentum's going in one direction. Forward. I just want to fall over and go. Find that bag.
I don't know.
3 steals for the White Sox today. A healthy lead off his second now for Getz. Rios continues to see breaking stuff from Palmer. The White Sox getting out hit by 4, but they're leading by a run in the 9th. Rios called out on strikes. And the Angels have their chance. Down 3-2. Bottom 9 coming up. When they play the Tigers head-to-head, they need to make sure they're playing their very best. Bobby Jenks to Gary Matthews Jr. So if the White Sox are to stay relevant, this will be a big win for them today. It's 3-2 in the 9th. And Jenks trying to back the car into the garage here. Jenks came on in a dicey situation last inning. And with one pitch, he got 2 outs. He got Rivera to hit into a double play. But now to start things out in the bottom of the 9th, 2-0 on the pinch hitter Matthews. Outside corner, 2-1.
Josh, you bring up a very important point. Mike Scioscia and his Angels within their division are 21-23. When you pinpoint Mike Scioscia as to why, we just say, hey, exactly what you just said. Have not played our best baseball when playing against the division. Period.
Wave and a miss by Matthews. And again, the White Sox will have that chance. The Angels will have to be at their best taking on the Rangers down the stretch, as they play each other 7 more times, including next weekend. can't be easy. Late afternoon here. The shadows starting to creep a little bit. They've been on the bench all day. You roll up there and face Bobby Jenks.
Yes, and Matthews really stepped up big time when Hunter was out 30-plus games earlier. Guerrero was out. He played a solid center field, had some very clutch hits for the Angels.
There have been some tough at-bats today from these Angels, including those from Torrey Hunter. A couple of hits for Torrey today. All hits for the Angels have been singles, all 11. Another foul for Matthews.
This is a crucial at-bat for Matthews, and even more so, John, for Bobby Jenks. Let's not forget that he came in the previous inning. He had to go sit down on the bench. Something a lot of closers don't get to do, is to watch your team hit after you have been in the ballgame.
Again, one pitch to get 2 outs last inning. It's going to take him at least 8 pitches to get the 1 out here. And this is an unusual assignment for Bobby Jenks to get more than just that 9th inning done. Close, but no. 3-2. Doug Eddings, home plate umpire. One thing about Doug, he loves to fire that baseball back with some authority. So Bobby Jenks in at 97, probably gets it back at 87.
A good center fielder's arm, Doug Eddings.
With a new baseball, here we go. And Matthews coaxes the walk. The tying man is on. And the fans will get into it now. The Bank of America fan cam want to show the world it's not like, it's love. Get MLB banking only from Bank of America. Well, these fans can recognize what's happening here. The winning run comes to the plate. And it just so happens that it's Kendry Morales. He of the 30 home runs and 98 driven in. We wondered about batting Morales in this spot, pinch hitting for him earlier with the bases empty. And now he gets a second at bat, and it's with a runner on. Sequence to Gary Matthews Jr. that was real close to being strike 3. It was not rung up by Doug Eddings. Matthews ends up walking.
Ozzie hoping that Kendry Morales plays into an over-aggressive mode here and spreads his zone.
Fouls it back. That rally monkey has been busy all year and productive. 43 come from behind wins for the Angels this season. They trailed 3-0 today. That's too high.
That's not where he wanted that pitch. Absolutely not. That'll make any hitter's eyebrows just go, oh yeah, I can see that spin.
Been a pretty safe lead off the first for Matthews. Not going. And the 1-2 falls outside.
Now Morales has seen the cut fastball inside. He saw the fastball riser up the four-seamer. So a curveball that stayed high, and then a curveball well executed. This just did not swing. It was a good location there for Jenks.
Trying to keep Matthews close. They've tried out A.J. Pierzynski considerably today. Pierzynski has caught a couple of attempted base stealers. Matthews is going. And a ground ball base hit from Morales. Runners at the corners and nobody out.
Something to be said about when you just allow that pitcher to get into your zone. But also a lot to be said when you can time a pitcher because you've seen so many of his pitches. Short swing by Morales. Matthews lets in as he should. Easy way to third.
Now Maicer is Torres. Every hit today has been a single for the Angels. Base hit away from winning this game. Third baseman Beckham is in even with the bag. Just as that shadow at home plate engulfs the batter's box. Jenks brings it. Gets a strike.
And Mike Socha's got to love what he's seeing with his hitters now working counts and getting the pitch count up there for Bobby Jenks, who has thrown 18. But they're the team here, Josh, after trailing after 8 innings, are 2 wins and 46 losses.
High fly ball left field. Carlos Quentin will give it a shot here. Nope, thrown towards second instead. This is a tie game. The pinch walk by Gary Matthews Jr. And then the sac fly RBI. Of course, don't forget about that ground ball base hit from Kendry Morales.
Watches away a great effort by John Danks, but the Angels' perseverance, hey, one single at a time is just as good as a homer.
Again, Jenks have been summoned last inning to pitch out of a jam. He created his own mess here in the ninth. And still got to pitch out of this. Quentin making the decision, I guess, Jose, in left field. He didn't have a great opportunity to get a speedy runner coming down at third. He just wanted to make sure that the double play could be kept in order. Throw that ball to second base. And a high pop fly from Figgins. Grabbed by Ramirez.
Going back to Quentin in that pointers, he does have a very strong arm, but there's no need there to waste a throw. He knows the Angels are built on the base pass, and that the guy at first base will try to tag. Ball's too deep to throw home.
Matthews, Morales, and his Torres, 3 guys who didn't even start the game for the Angels, all contribute here in the ninth. Ibar with a pop-up. stays in play. It is going to be grabbed over there. The White Sox, though, now tied with the Angels. This one's going to the 10th. 3-3 on Fox. In a tough at bat to start the ninth. Matthews would end up scoring the run after a Kendry Morales hit and run single set it up. Now it's 3-3 into the 10th, and Brian Fuentes, who's the closer for the Angels, just trying to keep this thing tied 3-3.
Typically, you don't want your closer coming in a tight ball game, but you have every opportunity also to put a guy out there who leads the major leagues with 40 saves.
And he's got to face the top of the order, with Mike Napoli taking over as the third catcher used by the Angels today. Well, the White Sox haven't scored since the third inning, since that dropped fly ball by Bobby Abreu. Fuentes with that hesitation in his delivery. Tough guy to pick up. And again, with the time of day that we're talking about now too, Jose, with the shadows out over home plate. Can't imagine that somebody puts a 7-run inning together right about now.
He's a short arm type closer. 88-91. As Mike Scioscia says, he'll throw the breaking ball that'll wrap around the plate.
Imported from the Rockies to take over that closer's role that Francisco Rodriguez performed historically well for this team. When he came up through the Mariners system initially, he was as a starter, had more of the traditional over-the-top motion. Well, here we go again. Leadoff man with a 3-2 count. Podsednik into right center field. That ball takes off, and Bobby Abreu, by the time he gets it, looks in and sees Podsednik at second base. Boy, he went down to get one there, too. It's a big afternoon for Scott Podsednik, an inside-the-park home run, and now the double to lead off the 10th.
He's been able to make adjustments throughout this ballgame. Watch the bat drop and just keep it in the strike zone for a long, long time. As soon as that ball is hit to the right of Abreu, he knows with his speed he has to challenge Bobby Abreu or anybody in right field and try to take the extra base.
If you're the White Sox, how you playing it, Jose? You want Beckham up there just to move the runner along, or do you play for a bigger inning than just trying for one?
With this young man up there, the lefty on the mound, I will play for a bigger inning. Beckham has shown me all the confidence in the world.
Corner men creep in. And there is the swing. A base hit into left field, just kind of dribbling towards left. But Cignek stops at third. Good call by you with a bunt, certainly a possibility. Beckham swings away, and it just rolls on into left.
Well, Beckham only has one sacrifice bunt this season. And you got to really throw the book out and just go on feeling. Go on the gut instincts tells you about a certain player in certain situations, and throughout the season, he is a candidate for the Rookie of the Year because of that. He is not afraid of any situation.
Situation standings-wise, the Angels with a 5.5 game lead on those Never Say Die Texas Rangers. The White Sox trying to prove that they're in the Never Say Die grouping as well, within 6 of the Tigers. And boy, of all people for Angels fans to be watching now in this situation, it's A.J. Pierzynski.
He's had a fine afternoon behind the plate, throwing guys out, but so far 0 for 4 with the bat.
And the lefty-lefty matchup here, Fuentes and Pierzynski. Paul Konerko's come out on deck. And a high fly ball from A.J. Pierzynski. Torrey Hunter in shallow center. But Cignek jams on the brakes.
Well, not enough on that one from A.J. Pierzynski. There's no need to take any type of risk.
Well, Paul Konerko announced as the pinch hitter already, and he is 2 for 3 with a home run against Brian Fuentes. The call will go to the bullpen. They'll get Jepson on instead, trying to keep this thing 3-3 in the 10th. Make sure that the White Sox do not score in the 10th inning. It was 1st and 3rd and nobody out. Fuentes got Pierzynski to pop out in the shallow center field, and now with Paul Konerko off the bench, double play candidate, right?
Double play candidate, and now Jepson, power pitcher. With this shadow, it could be very tough to get a comfortable at bat against a guy like Jepson.
First one's a strike right on the outside edge. The White Sox had a 3-0 lead today. Gave up 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th. Trying to grab it right back in the 10th. Got a Podsednik double and a Beckham single. Well, Jepson has really come on too, huh?
A young player out of that farm system.
This one chipped towards the crowd. And if nothing else, Jepson hops ahead 2 strikes.
Josh, I talk about the shadow because, I mean, you're picking up release point, you're picking up spin, and then when it starts brightly for you, you might see something that is not what you eventually get to hit or try to hit at home plate.
Got those bright white Angels home uniforms today. That ball comes out of the uniform, comes out of the sunshine as well into the shadow.
Guy throwing mid-90s makes it even tougher.
Again, a fly ball of any depth will do the trick here, but Podsednik with outstanding speed is that runner at third. Now, a situation that calls out for a strikeout, and indeed Jepson is summoned to try and get exactly that. Or as we say, the double play. Konerko barely getting a piece. And by the way, 3, 4, 5 in the order in the bottom of the 10th coming up. Tony Pena, Randy Williams getting ready. Getting by, and here comes Podsednik. 4-3 Chicago. Napoli just into the game. Jepson even more recently into the game. That battery misfires on a pitch in the dirt.
Napoli goes to his right, did everything possible that he could do with his hands, with his body, trying to center the ball, but once the ball hits that dirt, impossible to control how it's going to spin out.
So the wild pitch makes it 4-3 Chicago, and down to second base is Beckham. The White Sox now will hunt for that insurance run. Torrey Hunter scopes it out. Out number 2. Well, Konerko doesn't get credit for an RBI or anything like that, but he extended the at-bat long enough where something crazy could happen. He had a couple of tough 2-strike foul balls. And it just kind of kept on going just long enough for that wild pitch to come on up.
Excellent point, because a lot of times you have a more inexperienced hitter, makes an early out, swing of the first pitch, and you get to see much variance between the fastball, the breaking ball, and different levels of that breaking ball. Well, this time, he got spun a little bit too hard and gave the White Sox that run.
Jepson's 4th wild pitch of the year to make it 4-3 Chicago. They're going to go ahead and put on Mark Kotsay here. Well, the White Sox, meantime, are going to need a 3rd right fielder of the game coming up. Because remember, that was Dye/Wise when they put Konerko in the game as the pinch hitter. And not for nothing, it's been a challenging right and center field today, the way that the sun is positioned here at Angel Stadium. Perfect world, you want an experienced guy out there. Alexi Ramirez pops the first one up. Mike Napoli is able to make the play on this one. One that got by him, though, has made it 4-3 Chicago in the 10th. as Chicago will have to deal with Bobby Abreu at the plate. Paul Konerko, who was at the plate when that wild pitch got by, he's at first. Mark Kotsay will move on out to right field. And at least for a batter anyway, they're going to get the lefty Williams in here to pitch because it is Bobby Abreu leading off. They've got Pena, the right-hander, working in support of Williams right now. And the native Texan on in relief of Danks, Dotel, Thornton, and Jenks. Got Reggie Willits now on deck, too, by the way. The Angels looking for that first extra base hit of the entire ballgame. They do have 12 singles. And they bunched 4 of them all in a row in the 8th inning to score twice. There was a walk by the pinch hitter Gary Matthews Jr. that got their rally started in the 9th inning. And now the longtime on-base percentage machine, Bobby Abreu, trying to get something going in the 10th.
Guy that you want up right now.
Bobby Abreu remained unsigned this past winter for a long time, essentially replacing longtime Angel Garrett Anderson, who was unsigned for an even longer stretch this winter. Abreu, who's been some kind of pickup, a difference maker for the Angels. And we're looking at why. He is about the most patient batter in baseball.
It comes down to how do you replace what Bobby Abreu brings. Inside the clubhouse and on the field.
He works that leadoff walk, the 25th pitch that he has seen today. 2 singles, 3 walks. He's been on base 5 times. Switch hitting Reggie Willits now.
Josh, did that look like a guy who has 93 RBIs, hitting 300? No. He goes, my role right now is to be a leadoff man. I'll treat it as such.
What's Willits' role? Drop one down here? Or is
he has a specialty man off the bench for Mike Scioscia because he can come off the bench and bunt.
Not just to move a guy, he's got the speed to beat it out, too. Williams turns, flips, gets his man. The sac bunts, tying man at second base.
It's a special skill. Not everybody has the ability, first of all, to come off the bench and try to get a base hit. But then come off the bench when everybody knows what you're doing and get it done.
The call will go to the right-hander in a 4-3 game here in Anaheim. More such moments ahead. The 2009 postseason plays on Fox, the ALCS, the World Series. This is a reenactment of a terrific ALCS from just a few years ago. The Angels and the White Sox played some nip and tuck baseball in October. Now this has that kind of feel to it today. Tony Peña's in now. A 4.44 ERA. Going to take on Torrey Hunter with the tying man at second base. 1 out. Bottom of the 10th inning. Bobby Abreu on base for a 5th time this afternoon. He is that Angels runner. And the first one, a strike to Torrey Hunter.
Peña, powerful arm. Now, sometimes he tends to grab and he's going to throw. The secondary pitch is a slider.
On the ground is short. Abreu chased back to second. Torrey Hunter is out. Juan Rivera will once again have his moment. He has hit into a pair of double plays today. And a reminder, tonight on Fox, season premiere Saturday. Back-to-back, all new episodes of Cops, followed by the premiere of America's Most Wanted. It starts at 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. Been a lost afternoon for Juan Rivera. 0 for 4, 2 double plays. But a chance to be the hero right here. He is the winning run in the bottom of the 10th inning. To the net it goes, 2 strikes. Did he? Did not. Real close, too. Abreu, the tying man. Stays put. Remember, Abreu had a drop fly ball earlier in this game. Gave the White Sox a 3-0 lead. The Angels came back and tied it 3-3 in the 9th. The White Sox go ahead with 1 in the 10th, and here we are. Past the mound. Can Ramirez cut it off? He can. If it gets in the center, the game is tied. He had no play on anybody. But at least he keeps the score 4-3.
And that is what you are taught. He was playing Rivera to pull as he should have, but he understands the importance of when they tell you keep the ball in the infield, get dirty. That ball cannot get through. Well, it didn't. And that is why the White Sox stopped the Angels from scoring in that situation. Smart veteran play by Alexi Ramirez.
The 13th Angels hit today. Every one of them has been a single. And a guy who's been in a massive slump right now. With a chance to be the hero, that is Mike Napoli. First at bat of the game. Ground ball, second base. Ramirez will get there, and the ball game's over. It took 3.5 hours for Napoli to finally swing the bat, and when he does, he grounds out to end the ball game.